I met a man one evening, though happenstance, as it may seem. Had I arrived at the post office a moment earlier, or a moment later, I would not have met this man. Our paths would have passed, like countless others before, unnoticed, untouched, unremembered. Yet for reasons I still cannot explain, we arrived at the same place, at the same moment, beneath the same sky, and something within me has not been the same since. I met a man one evening, though that is not quite true, for men are easy enough to meet, and I have met thousands. No, that evening I met something moving through a man, and for a moment it stopped long enough for me to recognize it. He approached as though he had nowhere else to be, as though the world was not demanding pieces of him. His eyes arrived before his words, and his words arrived without agenda. There was no performance, no need to become, no need to convince, only presence. I remember how strange that felt, to be seen while doing nothing worthy of being seen, to be listened to without preparing a defense, to be heard without needing to explain myself twice, as if some ancient part of me had finally exhaled. We spoke of roads traveled, of things sought, of things found, yet somehow the conversation moved beneath language. The words were only leaves floating atop a river. The current itself, something deeper, something older, something I have spent much of my life searching for, in mountains, in ceremonies, in prayers, in the silence between birdsong. And afterward, the world did not look different. The trees were still trees, the river still flowed, the sky still carried the same stars, yet everything had changed, because I had remembered something. I remembered that God does not always arrive as thunder. Sometimes God arrives disguised as attention, sometimes as kindness, sometimes as a stranger who listens to listen instead of listening to reply, sometimes as a friend. Since then, I have found myself noticing the sacred everywhere, and the horses watching from a distance, and the wind moving through the cedar branches, and the rain quenching the earth's thirst, and the soil beneath my fingernails, and the sun crossing the face of a quiet afternoon, and every small surrender between myself and the living world. And perhaps that was the gift. Not that I met God, not that I found some final truth, but that for an evening I met one of God's friends, and through him was reminded that the divine had been walking inside me the entire time. Are you here? Was that you? Now, when I speak to the trees, they answer differently. When I sit beside rivers, I hear more. When I offer my prayers to the morning, They leave my lips with greater trust, because somewhere within me, a door was opened. And whether that door remains open for a season or a lifetime, I will always be grateful for the evening I spent with God's friend.